I'm Professor Khaled Alawadi. I specialize in architecture and sustainable urbanism, specifically studying GCC cities and the performance of those GCC cities from a sustainability point of view. So I do research, I do like a little bit of practice too, but my specialty is more into research and academic realm. Some of the masterminds in art and architecture attended. Discussions were really like very, I would say, insightful and informative. And we are all here to acknowledge art, to recognize art, to, I would say, discuss and debate about the future of art in the region, and also the future of architecture and urbanism as well. So it's a very interesting mix of, I would say, intellectuals, people in art, people in architecture, people, I would say, in urbanism. It couldn't be better. We are looking for more of these, I would say, informative, insightful events in the future. We talked a little bit today about the future of urbanism in the region, where we are and where should we go. I would say that despite the UAE or many emerging Gulf cities being kind of characterized by mega events, by mega architecture, by star architecture, by bigness, there are really unique places still in the UAE worth exploration, and these are what I call it the everyday places or the human scale landscapes where people come together, practice their daily, I would say, activities. You feel in those spaces that the land is very, very generous. It's generous enough to support, I would say, the culture of people, the practices, the daily practices of people. So those places are really, I would say, unique in terms of form, the morphology, unique in terms of people, and unique in terms of also rhythm and activity.
My name is George Katodrytis. I'm an architect and I'm a professor of architecture at the American University of Sharjah, and I have been here in the UAE 22 years now. Yeah, I talk about the evolution of the UAE and the GCC city from the 1960s mainly until now, going through master plans initiated by the government. Sometimes these master plans were never fully developed, they were changed, there were spaces in between that need to be filled up and so on. So I'm very much interested about the kind of hybridization of the intention and the actual result, and how one can find opportunities, this threshold in between, to look at how the city develops, how the city can be complemented, how one can participate into the affairs of the city. And so it's almost like the unpredictability of being in the UAE city, which appears to be well planned and to some extent is, but these loose ends provide some incredible, I think, opportunities for artists, architects, but also for the public to be more engaged. And I think the current fragmentation of the master plan, which was, as I said, kind of comes from above down, but all the parts are not all the time homogeneous, or they don't fit together like a perfect jigsaw puzzle, and always these discrepancies, the empty plots, the things which are not complete, things which are left abandoned and so on, become, in terms of cultural understanding, in terms of social, in terms of a physical space, whether it's very small or very big, this kind of acupuncture of the city and the whole notion of installation, amazing, I think, opportunities for artists and the public, I think, to interfere. And I find when you go to the old part of the city in the UAE, all these leftover informal spaces become quite fascinating in a way, visually and socially as well. And I think there are incredible possibilities, I think, to begin to interfere with these spaces and contribute almost to the complete image of the city. The event has been amazing, not because I'm here to mention this. I genuinely feel it's been amazing because the talks were very kind of different to some extent, and they're based on individual intense work or research or experience or practice in the region. And they've been quite diverse in certain ways, but there's always a thread connecting them. I think conceptually they're all kind of addressing the challenges of the city, how the individual concept, the autonomous idea can be overlapped or integrated with the city, whether it comes from the individual to the city or from the city towards the individual artists and so on. And that connectivity, I think, in terms of the concepts and so on, have been really great, that kind of linked thematically all the talks together. And we're halfway through the presentations now, so I'm looking forward to listen to the rest of them.
Hi, my name is Neda Salmanpour. I'm an architectural designer and I practice across architecture, product design, as well as visual arts. I've really enjoyed all the talks and I'm so pleased to be part of the Inloco Talks 2023. It's been very interesting, also the diversity of the speakers from different backgrounds and kind of unified around same concept, but kind of looking at it from different perspective. It really makes you be informed about the topic and about public arts, and it's been exciting and super fun as well. I think it's a very exciting time for the public arts, especially through the recent like governmental initiatives. You know, it allows, especially for, let's say, speaking about myself as well, it allows people that they really want to create for their cities to really be part of the city. And it's like, if there is an open call and if there is a support by the government, it's truly an open call. And if somebody really puts the effort and puts a strong proposal together to have this chance to create something for the city where everybody, where the public can engage with. It's not a private project, it's not a piece of art that's held within a private collection, it's something that everybody can enjoy it in terms of different aspects, whichever aspect of the piece they connect with. I think we're going to see more and more of these things, again, given that all these planning that has been announced and it's going to be ongoing. I think we're going to see a lot of cool things happening in the city. I think spirit of collaboration is something that's very much embedded into the city, and having new artists, institutions, companies such as Nuvo Buro, it actually quite helps to really enrich the tapestry of the artworks and creations coming together. I always feel if there is like the will and the love to really want to create or do something of with integrity, something that wants to be fresh but also respect its context and responds to its context, the more ideas or the more people are there, the thought process and the collaboration would be more enriched. So definitely, I personally love collaboration projects as well, because it pushes me to think a little bit differently, and I think that idea could be expanded more onto an urban level as well.
أنا اسمي الفريد البستاني، وأنا أشغل في جامعة أمستردام كمدرس في التاريخ الإسلامي. الثقافة في الشوارع مهم جدا طبعا، وكثير من الناس فإذا يمشون في المدينة ممكن أن يفكرون أي المكان هذا، هل نحن في أمريكا، هل نحن في أوروبا، أو يعني هل هناك أي الأشياء المخصوصة لهذا المكان. وفي رأيي طبعا الثقافة يعني يلعب هذا يعني الأهمية الكبيرة في الحياة المجتمع. يعني هذا الأهميات الثقافية المعنوية يعطي لكل الناس في الشوارع، ومن الثقافة في كل هذه الأمكان العامية أو العلنية ممكن أن نحن يعني المجتمع ممكن أن نفكر عن المكان هذا. مثلا نحن الآن في دبي، وطبعا هذا يعني المكان الدولي ومشهور في العالم كالمركز للاقتصاد أو للثقافة، ولكن أيضا ما المهم أيضا للناس الذين يسكنون هنا. هذا يعني المعنى ليس فقط من جهة المادية، ولكن أيضا يعني من جهة المعنوية. وهذا في رأيي ما الثقافة في الأمكان العامية العلنية يعطي للناس الذين يعيشون هنا لطويل الوقت، وأيضا للمسافرين الذين يقومون هنا ويزورون دبي أو المكان كمثل ذلك. يعني في رأيي طبعا الثقافة في الأمكان العلنية الظاهرية مهم جدا جدا. In my opinion, the Nuvo Bureau does a very good job in a sense of providing a space for open conversation about the perspectives and discourses on public art, and the way how it can be constructed by multiple actors, and what languages can be used or constructed by multiple actors in the field, including politicians, businessmen, artists, and what I find crucial in this particular conference and the events like of this kind is that it provides us, scholars or artists or anyone interested in promoting public art in the cityscape. It helps us to exchange ideas, exchange methodologies of how public art is created, and to see how your own perspectives and messages that we formulate within certain projects and communities can be related, associated with other views and perspectives that are there in the field. You can disagree with your colleagues. You can see what kind of conflicts and disagreements, multiple scenarios, multiple discourses create, and that also helps to see the context of your own work and to get fresh ideas for inspiration for new projects, and also to do networking for new cooperations. That's why the initiative taken by the Nuvo Buro, I believe, is very timely and important for the development of our understanding of what public art actually is in our days. So I guess somewhere in this discursive platform, our today's conference has really take place.
Hi, my name is Sanaz Askari, and I work with contemporary visual artists as a curator and a cultural producer. I thought it was a very great initiative. It's very well organized, and I definitely think there has been a gap for public art generally here, and it's nice to see a group of people, a company or a gallery being very much focused and driven by specifically this initiative. So I think as part of Nuvo Buro, today the team has curated an interesting group of people to the panel and an interesting narrative. And I think this is very important in terms of the initiative Nuvo Buro has for this city. I think there's a lot to look forward to.
My name is Alfrid Verhagen. I'm from Amsterdam. I live and work there. When people know me, they know that I made a project in Amsterdam, a new park, an old gas factory we transformed into an attractive park and a creative place with buildings. But that is more than 20 years ago, so after that I did many other projects all over the world. Most of the time the things I did was working as an advisor for cities, how to make their cities more attractive and how to make their cities better. I think I found it very interesting to be here. It's my first time in Dubai, and I'm very curious to see the city and to see what's going on. And Inloco Talks 2023 offers me the opportunity to know the city better. Dubai is one of those 4,000 cities in the world we have that is on the list. It's a city that people know and that people go to. That's an attractive city. It grows every year. So for me, it's very interesting to see the mechanisms and the processes in Dubai that they explore in making this a growing city. As we were discussing today, I think that it's my personal opinion that everywhere we go, we have to connect to the place, to the identity of the place. There is no, we are not living on the moon. There is always a history. There is always something to fall back on. There is, here in Dubai, it's the sand, it's the sea, it's the desert, it's the Bedouins, but there is a reality before this was here. We are only, as human beings, our generation, we are only such a tiny piece of time in this whole long story. And if we create a completely new city like Dubai is, I think for many people there is this demand for authenticity and where do we come from and identity, because these are I've learned, very important factors in why people move from one place to another, to be able to connect. And connecting you do to something that is already there. And this public art, and as well as the buildings and the parks and a lot of other things in the city, they tell a story. And the story is told digital or in a book or in a folder or anything, but that story is told to give you the possibility to connect and to be happy to be there and to feel happy inside that new environment where you are. So public art is, in my opinion, super vital, as is public space. Everything that is public makes it much more comfortable and possible to connect for people. So I think that is the shortest answer I can give.
My name is Filippo Minelli, and I've been invited here by Nuvo Buro for the Inloco Talks. And I'm a contemporary artist. I mostly work with landscape to create installations and performances. In the GCC region, and Dubai, Sharjah, and Saudi, like there's a big potential for contemporary arts, and we see more and more events like opening biennials. There are mostly based on site-specific interventions and public art. I think that there's a lot of potential in the region because also in terms of the starting point for reasoning, there's a way bigger variety of approaches than in the West. It's still the beginning, and I really look forward to see like how this whole approach will develop in the new years. The values of public art, I think it's like a very complex subject, but there's many different approaches. There's approaches that are more based on city making and destination making and like how to call that, like landmark making. There's more collaborative approaches that are the one that I'm more interested into. There are sometimes less spectacularized, but that are involving longer-term researches and longer-term investigations before a final output. And yeah, I think that they are both valuable approaches when there's enough freedom for artists to work on subjects and final presentations. If I were given the opportunity to work on public art in the GCC, Emirates in this case, I would definitely like to work with a transdisciplinary approach, working with different professionals, urbanists, or architects, anthropologists, philosophers from the region that can help creating like a more structured framework for me to operate into. So that's definitely the approach that I would like to be working on.
My name is Anastasia Nestorova, and I'm a multimedia director and creative producer of this Inloco initiative practices. We build a safe space for the dialogue, and the dialogue between art and science, and between physical and digital, and between human, the people, and the sites and the urban practices. So I think this is very, very important what we've done, and the topic we discussed and the wisdom we shared. So I'm very happy about this event. I can speak through my side as a multimedia perspective and as this digital public art, and I see a lot of ways how to build a bridge of this like multicultural, art forms, and tell the stories and the narrative of the cityscape. And it could be augmented reality, and it could be virtual reality, and multimedia installations. So I see lots of ways and different options. So to be more specific, I think this is not enough time for the interview, but the ideas arrived after this conference and public talk.
Yeah, my name is Anastasia Davidova, and I am responsible for partners relations at Inloco Initiative. I'm very happy with how our team collaborated to put the program together, because the program appeared to be very, very unique and very, very interesting and very controversial at the same time, which made it very, very interesting again. And from the organizational point of view, I'm also pretty happy about it, because it was like very cozy, casual event, not with a lot of people, but with a small amount of people which are really invested in the topic we're talking about, which made it, again, very special. I'm originally from St. Petersburg, and we were talking with my colleagues just, I think, yesterday or the day before, that like St. Petersburg is a city which is talking to you a lot, because there is a lot of art, also public art, and just the architecture and so on. And I'm so much used to this context, and public art is something that helps city to have a conversation with you, because public art represents certain messages, certain ideas, certain historical moments of the city. It represents roots, and at the same time it can also represent the future. So what inspires me the most in public art is that it gives you this dialogue with the place you live, and it helps you to kind of become friends with the city you live in. I live here for 5 years. And I do believe that Dubai needs more public art and more public spaces. And my idea, subjectively, is that the best way to do that is to kind of redo the places that are already there and are not used. Like it can be, I don't know, abandoned buildings, or there are a lot of buildings here which were built but never used. Or as George Katodrytis, one of our speakers, writes in his articles, there are a lot of like empty spaces in between different developments or different areas of the city, and they can be used to turn into new public spaces or to host those public art objects to first connect the dots. So it kind of, the whole city becomes as a whole, and also gives you this feeling that it's trying to say something and you can answer.